Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Alisha and today I'll be giving you a book review of Crave by Tracy Wolff. So if you've seen my book reviews before, you always know that I start by reading the synopsis. This is no exception, so let's get started. The synopsis says, "My whole world changed when I stepped inside the academy. Nothing is right about this place or the other students in it. Here I am, a mere mortal among gods, or monsters. I still can't decide which of these warring factions I belong to, if I belong at all. I only know the one thing that unites them is their hatred of me." Then there's Jackson Vega, a vampire with deadly secrets who hasn't felt anything for 100 years. But there's something about him that calls to me. Something broken in him that somehow fits with what's broken in me, which could spell death for us all, because Jackson walled himself off for a reason, and now someone wants to wake a sleeping monster, and I'm wondering if I was brought here intentionally as the bait. So let's talk about Crave by Tracy Wolff. This is the first book in a young adult series that has been highly compared to the Twilight Saga by Stephanie Meyer. You can see that the cover is similar with one object on the front, the black background, just like Twilight with the apple on the cover. But I can tell you that this book is anything but Twilight-esque. So let's talk about the premise of this story. It goes that the main character, Grace Foster, has come to Katmere Academy and has been, I guess, invited by her uncle Finn, who is the headmaster of this academy. She has come to the academy because her parents have passed away in an accident and she has nowhere to go. So from California to Alaska, she travels. Now, upon her arrival, of course, with anything that happens like that and you move to a new location, there's a lot of just getting your bearings and learning the lay of the land and so on. I'm trying to hold this in a way that does not have the glare. For that, I am sorry. So, with Grace becoming a new resident at Katmere Academy, she thinks that nothing is as it seems. There's a lot that goes bump in the night, and right now she's just getting reintroduced to an extended family, her Uncle Finn and her cousin Macy. Little does she know that Macy and Finn, or Uncle Finn, have a secret of their own, but no one tells her until later. So let's go ahead and talk. So let's talk about this book. I absolutely adored this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars and I could not put it down once I started. It did start a little slow for me in the beginning, mainly because it seemed like it was just a lot of traveling for Grace, but once we get to her destination at Katmere Academy, then everything goes from there. So in the beginning, when Grace meets a couple of students in the school itself, it is Macy first that she meets. That is her cousin. So her cousin is the one that picks her up from the airport and takes her to the academy. From there, she is greeted with Uncle Finn, I believe, and so he tries to get her settled, saying that she will stay in room with Macy, and he enlists some help from some of the students there to help take her suitcases and stuff to the room. The first one she meets is Jackson, dark, mysterious, brooding vampire, kind of like Edward Cullen in a ways, but she meets him, has an interaction, and then from there he disappears. Then she meets Flint, who we find out later is a dragon. So So there's a lot more than just the Twilight series where they have vampires and werewolves. This one has vampires, werewolves, dragons, and witches. So this one has a lot more of the supernatural creatures and or the paranormals, however you want to describe them. But a lot of happens in Crave. And like I said, there are some points where it seems kind of slow and there's a budding romance, but towards the end of the book, I swear it just kept picking up and going quicker and quicker. But I really enjoyed this one. I enjoyed the characters and the plot, which we will talk about next. So, the plot with Crave. I cannot say enough about this one. I've said that I liked the characters. They are both fun and quirky. The plot, however, had a lot of twists and turns. Now, reading this one by itself, I don't have all of the information, but there are more books to this series, and as I have read all of them, I do have that information. But we're gonna stick with what we know in this one. So for this one, we do not know that Grace is more than what she seems. As far as we know in this one, she is a human living in an academy with some paranormal supernatural creatures. She does not find out this information until towards the end of the book, and there's even some Twilight references in this one, as the author has come up with a few fun little references. For example, Jackson is trying to tell Grace about him being a vampire, so he borrows a Twilight book from the library and gives it to her. So he's trying to tell Grace that he's a vampire. So what he does is he basically falls in line with Edward Cullen. He doesn't want to be friends with Grace, but he can't stay away from her. So it's just like Edward and Bella, but Grace and Jackson. You know, he doesn't want to stay away from her. He keeps finding that he keeps having to protect her or save her from herself because she's the clumsy human. But she doesn't know that he's a vampire until about, I want to say, halfway, 2/3 through the book. And then, like, her mind is blown and she's like, well, wait, if you're a reality and not just in the stories, then what about? And so that unleashes a whole bunch of different information and things ensue from there. But it also doesn't stop from the plot happening. It doesn't take away from the plot. They have portrayed Hudson Vega, who is Jackson Vega's brother, to be this all-evil, powerful vampire that has been taken out. And one of the other characters, Leah, I think her name was, is trying to bring him back. So things happen from there, I won't say, but I highly recommend that you read the Crave series. If you read Crave and you love it as much as I do, there are 5 other books that you can pick up after Crave, but I do highly recommend them. In continuing and talking about Crave, I will talk about the characters and the author's writing style. The author's writing style I absolutely love. It's whimsical and you can see the characters without her telling you about the characters. Some of the descriptions in the story are very vivid and you just feel like you're thrown into the story as a whole. You feel like you're at Catmere Academy going to classes and hanging out with Macy and Grace in their dorm room. You also feel like you're the new girl. Flint calls Grace the new girl every time he sees her. So you really feel like you're new. You have to, you know, this guy keeps calling you the new girl, so you have to put up with those antics. but you also get a lot of that angsty teen love. Again, Jackson doesn't want to be near Grace, but he can't stay away. And then their relationship blossoms from there, and he tries to protect Grace at all costs. Again, I just absolutely loved this book. I can't say enough about it, and I really do hope that you guys will pick it up and give it a shot. Well, those are my thoughts on Crave by Tracy Wolff. If you have read this book, leave me a comment down below and tell me your thoughts and what you thought about it, or if you plan on reading it soon. But that's all for me in this video, guys. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!